Welcome back to the channel, folks, and thanks for stopping by for a visit. This gloriously green gargantuan, well, he's not really gargantuan, but this gloriously green guy is Transformers Age of Extinction Snarl. And we're going to take a look at him and what I've done to customize him in a G1 type of style. In the next GotBot True review, it is going to be part 5 of my AoE G1-Inspired Dinobot series. And this guy is going to kind of tie up our, main 5 traditional Dinobots. So stick around and we'll have a look at him in just a second. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot, and we have looked so far at a G1 styled Grimlock. Granted, I did not use the AoE version there. I used the Fall of Cybertron Voyager Grimlock for it. We've looked at Slog, who I have done in a style of Sludge. We've looked at Strafe, who I have done in a style for Swoop, and we have looked at Slug, who I've done in a style for Slag. This is not my version of Snarl. This belongs to Starscream Girlfriend's Scraplets, and I thank them for letting me have a look at this guy. My style, which we will get into in a little bit, is this guy. A lot different than just the green, so we will look at him shortly. You will notice a couple of things with this guy. He doesn't have his tail piece, just because I didn't take the weapon piece. But I mean there's where is it? There's a hole right here on this translucent plastic. There's a hole over here. You slot in his weapon, which becomes his tail, and you close the two together, and boom, he'll have a tail sticking out the back. It's not missing, it's just I forgot to take it from their house. There's also the extra plates, I guess, that stick up here. I didn't take that, so this guy is kind of bare bones, but it will give you the idea. He is mostly green with some gunmetal gray on the neck and on the lower feet, on the front anyway, and some purple up on his chest up here. In this mode, the legs can go all the way around. They bend. The jaw, if I can get it, will open. The jaw will close. The head can, bend down and bend up. Nothing really at the neck. The back legs are pretty stationary except for a knee bend here. And that's about it for this guy in Dino mode. But it's still, it's pretty good. It's not too bad for articulation. I mean, how much mobility do you need the dinosaur to have? For him to his posability in robot mode is quite good, with one really weird part about his hands. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you're gonna. So overall, I would say posability and playability for this guy, again, we're looking at about an 8. He's not perfect, a couple of things bang into things, but about an 8. Paint apps, he wasn't even in the movie, so is green good for him? Yeah, sure, it's a dinosaur-y color. I would actually, and I love the green that was used, kind of metallic right here. I like the purple. I love the gunmetal gray. Honestly, paint apps for this guy, they're not G1, but for what it is, being kind of stylized and whatnot as it is, I don't know, we'll say his paint apps are 7.5. They're pretty good. Now, let's bring in, and that popped out, and I will try and reposition it. Let's bring in this guy. This guy is my custom version. I think with his paint apps, he becomes for sure 9.5 for me. He has a gold head, and I love the dinosaur head sculpt. It looks good. Gold on the sides and gold on the, I guess, shoulders of the dinosaur legs. His feet are gold, but they come up under and make his dinosaur chest. Silver here on the thighs and coming right down the arms, gold on the back feet here. His tail, which is also green that I talked about earlier, missing on this guy. Right, you can see the difference. And if I open this up, you'll see where the tail fits in. It just pegs on over here, and then you bring the two tail pieces together. And when you bring them together, they close up over the tail, and boom, there you go. The tail is green, or sorry, gold. I did leave the tabs green so that they would still slot into the little holes on the translucent plastic. I've done a gold wash over these panels, and the first time I tried to do it, I think I used too much, and he crumbled apart in my hands. I went right away and bought a new one. I had to. This guy was actually a Christmas gift a couple of years ago from Starscream Girlfriend for me, and I wanted him replaced right away because he was the last Dinobot that I needed. Then you have this little piece. It's really part of his weapon when you open it out. You fold it up, and here's what you have. And I've never really understood this. You have a little tiny tab there on the bottom, right there. And it's supposed to slot up here in the top. And it's very hit or miss if you're going to get it in there. And if you do, it's a really good chance that it's not actually going to stay there, to be honest with you. So a lot of times I don't really worry about it, but there's basically how it's supposed to look up there. It gives them extra plates. I probably don't even have it quite in the right spot because I don't really care, because I don't typically leave it there because it just pops out anyway. So for me, like I said, I thought the paint apps were good for this guy for what they are. You know, I gave him like a 7.5. For this guy, because he is more G1 inspired and he has, you know, the red chest and the silver and the gold, to me this looks like a Snarl. This looks like Snarl. I'm giving him a 9.5 because I know it's not absolutely perfect. Posability, playability, same as this guy, you know. Again, we're saying a 7.5, 8 because there are certain little things that bang into each other, but overall it's pretty good, and you got the weird hand thing, which we will get into. So far, if we're looking at this guy, he's running at about an 8. This guy is running at about a 9. Let's look at transformation. Well, I'm going to do transformation with this guy. Normally, you would begin by splitting the tail and taking out that tail piece, just as I showed you with my custom version. Next, you want to take these back legs and hinge them out, because they're going to become the shoulders, and just hinge it out. You can kind of leave all of that for now, if you want. Next, you want to open up the body and bring down the legs. They're not even split yet. We still have a full dinosaur body down here. Next, make sure you do this. You'll see that his waist here can move a little bit. Make sure you bring the waist back, and when you do so, you'll see a little space between two nubs here, and you'll see a little nub that comes up to go between them. Bring it all the way up, and make sure that that locks in just like so. You might hear a click, you might not. I find on mine I hear a little bit of a click. I find on the Scraplets version you don't. So there you go. Next, you want to split the legs like so. And you'll notice that there is a fake dinosaur head in here, because you take the real one and fold it in. And I like that they did that. It gives you symmetry on both sides of the legs. It was a nice touch that they didn't need to do, and they did, and I really appreciate it. Next, you want to bend up. See if I can just show this quickly here. Okay, next you just want to bend up the leg on the side, bend up the dinosaur leg on the side, like so. And they hold quite well. Take the feet and bring them all the way down. Take this foot and bring it all the way down. And that's his lower body done. And we kind of have the upper body. You can see how it's going to come together. Next, for the upper body, now that you hinged out this section way in here, you can just bend the shoulders down like so. And turn the arm so that the black is on the outside, and swivel swivel the fist like this. Turn the arm so that the black is on the outside, and swivel the fist like this. We're almost done. This guy's easy. Next, take this piece and bring it all the way back, like so. Take the tail pieces, and there is a little slot here on the arm. There's a hole in the tail piece itself. And you should be able to just push that to slot the tail over the arm like so, and push that to slot the tail over the arm like so, and they hold pretty good. And last but not least, you go back right here. There's a little tab right here that you can put your finger on and bring up his head, and you just heard it click into place. And he has a beautiful face sculpt again sticking with that night version, but it looks great. Really nice face sculpt. I love the gunmetal gray, and I love the green used. Now, there is one other section here that's supposed to be done. This center massive spikes is supposed to open up like so. And you can certainly do that, but know this, if you do that, you are kind of limiting the shoulder articulation, because now you can see like things are banging into each other. You really need to move it around. So honestly, I tend to just leave it closed. Some people don't like the gappiness right here. I don't care. Why? Because truth is, it gives him more posability and playability. Transformation for this guy, honestly, about a 9. It's easy. It is so easy. It is really just compacting him and uncompacting him. I talked about the posability and playability of this guy. And his head, you know, swivels left and right. It doesn't really look up much. It can look down, but that's really because of transformation. And shoulders, I mean, now they can go all the way around. There is a bicep swivel. He does have the gorilla arms that go across his chest. Now here's the weird part. He has the bicep swivel. You can put his arm forward and give him the fist that folds up like this. But when you put his arm forward, you can rotate the fist. Now the fist looks like this, which is really weird, especially when you fold it up. But technically it can face forward. There was a better way, I think, to do these fists. It is what it is, though. He does, of course, have a nice deep elbow bend, whether across his body or up and down. The arms, you know, they can spread out to the side pretty good, to be honest with you. No problems there. He does not have a waist swivel, but that's because of transformation. Although I thought he did have a waist swivel. Guess not. There is a thigh swivel. There is a nice, you know, deep knee bend above 90 degrees. And his feet, you know, pivot forward and back, not side to side. Is he perfect? Again, no, he's not perfect. But honestly, I would give his posability, playability a pretty high score. In the end, taking into account paint apps, taking into account transformation, and taking into account posability, playability, I scored this guy at about an 8.5. I still see him sometimes on shelves in stores. He wasn't bought, and I'm telling you now, of all of the Dinobots that came out, this guy is one of the absolute best. If you don't have him and you have, you know, other versions of the Age of Extinction Dinobots, you're really doing yourself a disservice by not having him. He is great fun. He's a great mold. He's great fun. So, as with the other ones, I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to put this guy in robot mode so we can have a closer look at him. Here's one more look at him in dino mode. And again, I'm not any kind of a fabulous professional customizer. If I can do this with paint pens and toothpicks and a couple of little paint brushes, you can too. But I think it looks a lot more snarly. And I'm going to put him in robot mode, and we're going to have a look at both of them side by side. So I will see you in a second with this guy in robot mode. Yoink. And we are back. This is the retail version of Snarl, and this is my custom painted G1-Inspired version of the Age of Extinction Snarl. Again, you know, if this guy is running at an 8.5 as an overall score, and I said he's an excellent figure, this guy for me runs at a 9.5. He has now, you know, gold on the feet, gold on the sides of the legs, and of course on the plates on the front of the legs. We have silver to the side. We have black thighs instead of green thighs. His whole center mass, instead of being green, is now red. I did maintain the purple here in the stomach because I just really like the look of it. You know, I maintained the purple and I maintained the silver. Everything else I did red. And we get up to the head, and the head is now black. I did his eyes in silver, just to break it up a little bit, or I'm assuming that's his eyes. His arms, of course, now are all silver. His hands are black. The toes of the dinosaur mode are gold, and of course there's a bit of a gold wash here and here. I don't know how well that's coming out on camera because of the, you know, translucent nature of that plastic. You know, like I said, if you just got this version and did nothing with him, he's an 8.5. He's great. If you do this with him, I don't know about you, but to me, I look at it and I think, yeah, that looks like Snarl. That looks like Snarl. That's a pretty good Snarl. And I'm quite happy with him. Now we come to his weapon. I didn't show it with this guy because, like I said, I don't have it. I do have it for this guy. You take those center plates out, and there's a handle that slots down into a hole in the tail part. You see there's still some green here. There's still some green here because this needs to go into holes on the translucent plastic. If I added more paint, well, actually I did add more paint. It didn't really fit, so I had to scrape it off again. This is his weapon. I guess it's a bladed mace type of thing. You can put this together any number of ways. I put it together like this. And once you have it together, honestly, all you do is you take it and you put it in his hand, and I guess you slot it however you want to slot it for him to hold it. There you go. He can hold it. I don't really use that weapon because I don't find it stays in his hand great, and all I'm doing is, you know, scraping the gold off of it that I need to retouch. So I don't really use that weapon, to be honest with you, very much. Again, if you, you know, if you want to do this custom, like I said, if I can do it, you can do it, guaranteed. It is, you know, it is something that works for me to fill that need for a set of G1 looking Dinobots. Obviously some creative liberties taken with the mold, and some creative liberties taken with my paint scheme of the mold, but again, it works for me. So again, we're going to take this guy out of it. Oh, and since we're at it, I guess I might as well show how Snarl scales with a modern day Deluxe. There you go. There's off-road with him. They're fine. They scale fine. If you want a bigger version of this, like I said in a couple of videos before, I think there are KO versions that are more Voyager size. They're great. The Deluxe works for me because I think that, you know, Grimlock and Sludge should be bigger, so I'm okay with the Deluxes. You might not be. But I'm going to take, you know, take a second and give you one last look at this guy. I'm going to put him back in Dino mode. And we're going to see the group all together. Some people have said, you know, GotBot, why aren't you showing them all in robot mode? I will when I'm at the end of this. So we're going to take this guy, put him in Dino mode, show him with his brethren, and see how the group has come together. So, yoink, I will see you in just a second. And here we go. We have Snarl back in Dino mode. And we will have his buddy Slug/Slag join him. We will add over here, we will add Strafe/Swoop. Back here, we are going to add the big boy, Slog, stylized as Sludge, and the leader of the group, Grimlock. I think they look good. I do. I'm happy, really, with how these guys managed to turn out. I am quite happy with how these guys managed to turn out, and that is, you know, the 5 original Dinobots as a group, and I think they work together. I think they look, you know, I think they look great together. So we're done, right? We're finished. Yes? Not quite, because the movie gave us 2 new Dinobots, Slash and Scorn. And you know what? I went this far. I stylized all these guys, and if you're, you know, a G1 purist and you see these guys done, hey, maybe you're saying to yourself, well, that's it. There was 5 of them. There's 5. That's all I want. But if you're like me, and you said, well, you know what? I like Dinobots. I could take a couple of new ones. Sure. Why not? So what did I do? I took those 2 new Dinobots. I did my own kind of idea as to what they would look like, you know, in a G1 style. And I'm going to add them to this group. And when we're done, we're going to have 7 Dinobots. So, like I said, if you're a purist and, you know, these 5 are here, maybe you don't like this look, this aesthetic, and hey, that's your choice. Like I said, there's a lot of third-party ones for Masterpiece style. If you have, you know, if you have the cheddar, if you have the free cash, you know, Planet X made some great Fall Cybertron inspired ones. But, you know, if you have this set, get yourself some paint pens. You can do this yourself just as easily as I did. It takes some time, it takes some patience, but you can do it too. So let's take a look next at Slash. Let's take a look next at Slash and see how he fits in with this group. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. You know, check out Snarl. If you don't have him, you really should. And I will see you the next time we have a visit inside the videos.